Alright, so my thoughts behind this here, I already got this one cut. If you remove the upper board here on each one, then you can build your end shelf using those 2x now that I've cut them all down this length, so they'll fit across here. So I've just cut these off. Alright, so if we start on one opposite end, now this is just pallet wood, so it's probably not going to be perfectly square, probably won't even be totally perfect, we just want it to be somewhat close. So I figured if I leave this here, that'll give me another area right here where we can reach in and kind of grab everything. So I'm just going to attach these. Figure a couple screws in each side. Just squeeze them together. Alright, so found a couple of old cedar pickets I had lying around from another project. So what I did is I went ahead and I measured what it's going to fit on the edge of it so I could pinch the edges. And I marked it, so I'll rip this in the middle. So I'm going to run this down my table saw and cut it in two, so that way I got two caps and two ends, and then I'll cut the game bag and I'll hang it in the middle. And then on the second one with the extra picket here, same thing. I'm going to measure it, mark it. I'll have the extra to tie the game bag, and then I'll have both sides of it that I can use for securing and keeping it stable as all the vegetables are hanging. One other thing that I didn't even think of until as I was just building this, the thing I might end up doing is just so it's, my wife and my kids trying to reach through here might be kind of difficult. So what I think I'm going to do is when I put the casters, I'm going to make it so it rotates the face of it. I'll have the back ones stay just in and out, and what I'm going to do is right here, after I get it all done so it's all nice and supported, I think I'm going to cut a section out here, and I'm going to cut this one off so it's almost like a little shelf so they can actually get access and reach inside there. And I'll do the same thing on the lower one here, so that way they can reach up top, and the ones in here just give them a little bit more room. So I guess that's kind of the fun thing with building it yourself. You can make it however you want. Alright, one thing is I went in and cut the piece that I'm going to use for the upper board here to pinch it. Coming inside here, it hits this groove in. We're on the inside of the pallet, so I'm just going to mark it, and I'm going to go ahead and cut that one flush with this outer board over here on this side so I can make my shelf. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut this one. I'll mark it and use this as my straight edge, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut this upper piece here out as well, and then that'll be my mark for my little shelf so that they can still reach in there and kind of get to everything. So I'll just rip it across there, cut it flush, and go from there. So I've laid this thing down, so I'm going to try to figure out the base of it here before I blow it off one last time and hang everything. I think I'm going to mount these 2x6s here, right along the base. I get a couple of screws in here. That way when I put the casters on, I got something heavy duty to sit into, and then all the weight will then sit on these, so I think it'll just make it a lot sturdier. So I think that's what I'm going to do for the base of it. Alright, so I just got the base mounted. So I got my wheels, caster wheels here, so now everything's pretty sturdy. So now I can move it around. We can wheel it into in the little back corner that we're going to have it here, where we're going to keep it stored. Easy maneuver. Kids can get to everything on both sides. I think I am going to do one more shelf down on the bottom just so we can have extra just in case. So I'll probably do one more shelf down there, but I'm going to go ahead and finish up these top two just to see how it looks and how it's all going to go together. But so far that's kind of what we're going for here. So it'll have shelves. So you got an upper shelf, have the bag, another one up here, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do one more down there. So I have 3 different shelves, everything to move. We have a room back here that we're going to keep it in. It's all black. It's all insulated and keeps it cool, so that's where we store most of our stuff. So we can make it fit through the doorway. Go from there. I went ahead and made a 3rd shelf, just in case. Never know. Wife might decide she wants to get some other stuff. So got all 3 shelves built here. I'm going to kind of tip this up, be a little easier to see. I went ahead and mounted up on the top here, like a lip that comes up over the top around each one. So that way this, again, I can probably repeating myself, but that way we can pinch the game bag in between there. So this just gives me a longer area. I'll probably just put a bunch of nails in it initially to hold it in place, and I'll probably come back with some screws just to really kind of secure it down, since it is going to be holding pretty good weight. So you can look all the way down through there. So I got 3 shelves. Now each one of these shelves should be able to get pretty easy access to. Should be able to reach in here, and I'm going to keep these tight enough that hopefully the next ones won't sag down too far. Same thing with the bottom ones. Alright, so I got the first one all done. I pre-drilled all my holes so I wouldn't crack any of this wood, since I don't have a whole lot of spares. But here's essentially what it's going to look like. So now it's all nice and tight. I'm going to have my wife bring out a bunch of onions. We're going to lay them on here. See how it's going to hold. If it doesn't hold, I'll just pull these screws out, double one up, and then we'll put 2 of them on there and see if it holds. Alright, so we got a bunch of onions in here, and it's kind of loose. I mean, everything looks like it's working good. None of them are stacking on top of each other. But I think if we put, I mean, these are some huge, I mean, these are some monstrous Walla Wallas. I mean, you can see those things are just huge. So, pretty big Walla Walla onions there. So, potatoes are going to be more than that. So I think what I'm going to do, because the potatoes are going to go on these ones, so I'm talking about the heaviest ones at the bottom of the shelf. I have some leftover chicken wire. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that chicken wire and I'm going to put a loose hanging one, so it kind of hangs down in the middle. I'll push down, and then I'm still going to use the game bags, but that way the chicken wire will give it a little bit more support as I'm putting everything in there, so that way to let it sag down a little bit so the potatoes can all stay and get aired out, but not without tearing the game bags. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to get this all mounted up, and then we'll load it with potatoes, and I'll have a video when it's all loaded up. Alright, so we got all of our onions in here. So if you can look down here, it's only about an 1/8 probably of what the potatoes are going to weigh, because we have 2 pretty big boxes. We're counting on 50 or 60 pounds of potatoes. I think that's only about 22 pounds of onions. So I'm reinforcing this with chicken wire. I pre-bent it down in the middle. I'm still going to put the game bag on it just like the top one, and hopefully that'll help keep the extra weight of all the potatoes in there. And I'll do the same thing on the bottom shelf. The bottom shelf I might do a little bit, not bend it down quite as much, just because I don't want anything getting too close to touching the floor. I do want a gap between the floor, but nothing too close. So I'll get the game bag on there and get another video. Alright, so got all the trays installed. I got the chicken wire down underneath, and it's already pre-bent to kind of hold some of the weight, so it's only going to let it go so far. All attached. So what I got here is, this is my workout ball here. It's actually just an old basketball full of sand and duct tape. I use it for working out. This weighs, I don't know, 15, 17 pounds or so. So you can see, drop that in there. Now the chicken wire holds it up. Didn't have any problem holding it. Everything flexes down. Everything looks good. So I think we're good to go. Alright, so here's where we're going to keep it. So this is just in like a little storage room, art room my wife uses. So I put it in front of the pallet wall that I built in our carving room, so it kind of sticks with the theme of all recycled wood in here. So we'll get the potatoes harvested here in about a week and see where we end up.